Playing alongside brothers Michael, Jermaine, Jackie, and Marlon, Tito Jackson helped define the pivotal pop and soul sounds of an era as guitarist for the Jackson 5. His talent was further solidified as an adult in the Jacksons, to which he lent his writing talents on now classic anthems like Shake Your Body Down to the Ground, Destiny, and 2300 Jackson Street. The last member of the nine-sibling musical dynasty to test the solo waters, Tito has merged an admiration of the group's legacy with his passion for the blues on his first full-length album, So Far, So Good. I'm Justin Kantor, and welcome to Rhythmic Talk on BlogTalkRadio with my very special guest, Mr. Tito Jackson. Hey Tito, how are you doing?
Hi Justin, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. It's a pleasure to speak with you. And so I've been enjoying We Made It, and it's really cool to finally hear a new solo thing from you. I know you did your blues EP a few years back, but it was cool to see that you're coming out with a full album. So I guess I kind of like start from the beginning and do like a timeline sort of what's led you up to this point. I've read that you were initially quite modest about your interests in music when you were growing up. Is that an accurate assessment?
Well, pretty much, because I sort of hid it in a way from my father, because I was playing his guitar.
Yeah.
and I had learned a lot of the songs on the radio and all that, and my brothers were learning them with me, and we were all just singing in the room. And before he can get home from work, we have the guitar back in the closet.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you had to time it out pretty much.
Right.
So
right until I broke a string one day and didn't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So he found out I was playing his guitar. That's when he asked me to play for him, and he was very surprised that I had taught myself how to play all this music. And he bought me a guitar the next day.
Wow. Yeah, that is a nice gift to have because, a guitar to me seems like a pretty intricate instrument to try to learn on your own. So was it just like kind of by ear, you just picked up things and the fingers just kind of followed, or did you have to like kind of...
Yeah, we just, basically I played by ear,
Okay.
I would just, whatever I heard, I'd just find the notes and taught myself. I had an uncle, Luther, who later, played guitar as well with my father. And once I had my own guitar, they would show me all types of things, chords and blues and all this other stuff.
So what was it like when you guys, I think it was you, Jermaine and Jackie, started as the Jackson Brothers? Were you how did you go about that? Like what kinds of things were you performing, and how did that help kind of shape your musical identity, if you will?
Well, we were basically we would listen to the radio or whatever records that was in the house that we liked. Were mainly Motown records and some of the Bee Gees stuff. And we would learn these songs and sing the harmonies, and we loved that. I think what really got us into the harmony is the Three Stooges, actually, because we loved that hello, hello, hello thing they did in harmony, and we would always do that,
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's
hello, 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 the thing?
Yeah, no, I know. That's an unexpected influence. That's pretty cool.
That was one of the first harmony things we learned.
Wow.
And we learned just from that, you can do all kinds of changes and this and that, and, it was one of the things that really helped us to start singing and feeling good about what we were trying to, or what we were doing,
Yeah, well...
Maybe it didn't sound that great to others, but it sounded okay to us.
Well, I was say, you must have done something right at some point, because you guys ended up going to the Apollo, right, and performing there?
Yeah, well, actually, when it was Jermaine, Jackie, and myself, Michael and Marlon was big and try to sing and be, we were all just kids playing, actually. We were playing, having fun.
Yeah.
And we were just the older brothers, feeling that Michael and Marlon were just our little brother, and they need to be going, and they were playing in the sandbox and not bothering us, because we're taking care of some serious business,
The big honchos.
No, because they, here we are, we're 8, 10 and 11 and whatever, and they only 4 and 5, you know?
Well, so how did you guys, like, make it out there? Or, like, how did it come about that you ended up going to the Apollo? Was it, like, your dad, like, arranged it, or was it, like, some fluke? Or...
Oh, prior to us even coming to Motown, we used to open up a lot of shows for a lot of artists, such as Jackie Wilson, Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers, Gladys Knight and the Pips, the Dells, the Shylights, Five Star Steps. We used to open these shows for these major artists, and they got wind of us. We didn't only do the Apollo, we did the Regal in Chicago, we did the Uptown, and I think that was in Philly, you know, so we were known as the an opening act that was exciting, I guess, to the crowd. So that's how we made it to the Apollo on Talent Night.
Now, from a musical standpoint, one thing that I've read is that during those years at Motown, as far as the actual albums were concerned, that, like, from what I understand, sometimes you weren't, even though you were, I guess, an accomplished guitar player by that point, you weren't always allowed to showcase that on the albums. Like, was that a hindrance to you, or like, do you have any comments on that? Because I know that, you know, live, I think you were able to do your thing, but sometimes on the studio albums, they maybe utilize certain other musicians at points.
Well, back then especially, they had what they call studio musicians, and then you had your live musicians. But Motown had their own bands, like the Funk Brothers and things of that nature, that they had been only playing on the Jackson 5 stuff, but a number of Supremes hits on down the line.
Right.
You know, so they wanted to go with their winning hand, from musicians all the way up to producers, all the way up to writers. The brothers wanted to do some writing, and they didn't think we were ready to be writers. And I can understand the reason for that, because here we are, a brand new group of children that they're trying to develop, and it's going to take a large amount of money to promote and market this thing, and they wanted to go with their winning hand, their sure thing. So, but and still with all of that, we were still learning, and you never are through learning. I'm still learning today.
As we talked about earlier, you know, blues has been an important part of your foundation, and I've read that Albert Collins and B.B. King are among some of your main influences. So how has that kind of shaped your musical direction to where you are now, and even say when you did the I Gotta Play EP a few years back?
Well, actually, what it was, I started out with my brothers doing the thing that you know of. And I had stopped. I had put the guitar down. I put show business away for a second. In the first time in my life, I was able to not think about a song or music, and I had a chance to really feel like a person, you know, without being a machine told to go do interviews or a recording session or a tour. One of my friends had a band that they were performing, and I went out to see him performing. He was having so much fun, I wish I was up there with him. And I said, you know what, I'm going to start a band. So I started a band, a blues band. I started playing in he had a little beer joint. And I would just go there and practice and rehearse, and it was the type of place that was very slow. Hardly anybody knew about it. It was right off the freeway. So it was a good breaking ground for me to feel confident as a solo artist and just to work out my thing. So I would basically put my band together right in front of whoever was there.
If it's not too personal to ask, what can you describe, like, when you did lose Michael a couple years ago, like, what kind of went through your mind when that happened, and what maybe the process has been like for you, like, kind of, you know, going through that and dealing with it and everything?
Well, it's a really hard thing to deal with. And it still kills me every day, you know, because you never have the moments of being reminded, of not being reminded, because you see fans on the street who recognize you, and give their condolences. Still today, I hear it every day, 2 and 3 times a day, or